Welcome to the Snap Audition Podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, and leave a 5-star review.
So we're here with Henrique De Almeida, drummer, lifelong drummer, and founder of the Drum Set Coach Academy in Colorado Springs. Actually, in Monument, right? You're in Monument, which is a little outside of Colorado Springs.
Thanks for having me on your show.
Oh yeah,
thanks so
sure.
much, Eric.
Yeah,
and it's actually in Palma Lake. Yeah,
right. And so Henrique has a background grew up in Brazil. And you could tell us about all that and your experience with the Air Force and all kinds of different things. Maybe just start off telling us about your how did you get into music? How did you get into playing drums? What was your first inspiration?
I think the drums picked me because my earliest memories having a very small drums, and I don't know how old I was, but I do remember, this is imprinted on my memory, is me with the small drum, a very small drum with calf skin, real skin. So we're looking at, maybe I was 4 or 5 years old, I don't know, but
yeah,
I remember putting the drums near my face and hitting the drums and feeling that vibration. So,
right. Yeah.
and I love that, and then my mom used to tell me that I used to go to the kitchen and get wood spoons and pots and pans from the kitchen and hit them. So my relationship with striking things for some,
Yeah, right.
it was from the beginning. When I got a little older, about 10 years old, I took my first drum lesson. My parents put me on this music school, private music school. So I go to this little school. It was a family. The name of this school was Zenilde Maria, and her family was a bunch of ladies. One played piano, the other lady played, very unusual, played drums, the other lady played accordion, and her father, that school was on their house. They had this big house in Brazil.
Okay.
I grew up on the beach, and the first floor was their house. But if you go upstairs, they made the upstairs a drum room, a piano room, a little ballet area. It was really weird. You have those 5 sisters, and one taught drums, piano, the other taught guitar, the other taught ballet. So it was like family-oriented. And I'll go there to take drum lessons.
Okay.
And the drum lessons, looking back, was very unusual because it was not a lot of technique and stuff like that. It was playing songs, playing songs. And I stayed there for about a year or 2 years. And then I start playing, like every kid does, find a guitar player and a bass player and go play da 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 da
exactly.
da, it's just, and then I changed to the conservatory, the Recife Conservatory. And then I start taking, harmony year training. That was 2 years later. So I had to be like 12 years old at the conservatory. And then at the conservatory, I met real musicians, right? Jazz musicians, teachers, students. And then I start playing with local bands, playing festivals. Couldn't play clubs because I was a minor, but Brazil, Recife is kind of New Orleans. We have like so many styles, big carnival. So there is a lot of places for kids to play that are not at night, outdoor things. And so one of the guys that I was playing with, one of the local artists, was a composer. When he got a shot to do a record, I was a little older. I was like 16, 17. And we went from Recife to São Paulo, which is a big city, to do his record. And the guy producing his record was a guy named Alceu Valença, which was a huge mega pop star in Brazil. On that recording session, I hook up with this guy producer, and I start on the way back, flying back to Recife. I was like, man, you got to hook me up. I want to get those gigs. And I start to buy him. And to make a long story short, when they need drummers, because they saw me on that record, when they producing that record, one day right after Carnival, I got a call from the producer of Alceu Valença, and back on the day there was his landline, right? I answered the phone, and the guy said, "Hey, my name is Valentin, and I'm the producer of Alceu Valença, and I asked him to go pack sand. I cast him out. Yeah, and I'm the president. You fool! I thought it was a prank,
Right? Yeah.
And then it's like Sting's producer be calling you, This is Sting.
Yeah.
I was like, right, bleep,
Yeah.
So he called again, and I said the same thing. I thought it was one of my friends playing a prank with me,
Yeah.
So I cussed him out again and hang up the phone. And then I got a call from the guy that I used to play with that recommended me. You better answer this phone, man. This is for real. I said, I knew it was you. He goes, no, I'm not
Really?
kidding you. I swear you better answer the phone. And I answered the phone, and that evening, which is a great story, this is surreal, man. That evening, they came to my house. Alceu Valença with the guitar player, the keyboard. They came to visit.
They came to your house? Okay.
Yeah, they came to. It's like Sting walks in your house,
Yeah.
So and then we talked.
And how old were you? How old were you then?
Maybe 17, 18.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I was not in college. I was finishing high school.
Yeah.
So that was cool. They asked me to go see my drums. I had a piece of crap drums, and they said, "Play for me." I'm playing for those guys.
Yeah.
And then the singer was talking to me like I got the gig. I was kind of, okay, so we need to get you better drums. Could you go on the road with us? Are you in school? Can I talk to your parents? Blah, blah, blah. To make a long story short, man, that was the audition. I got the gig. They talked to my parents, who had to go to court because of a minor. He had to be like my chaperone. And they went to New York, got me the drum of my dreams, because I couldn't do with this piece of crap drums.
Yeah.
And then they brought a friend of mine, the bass player, got the gig too. We spent 2 weeks rehearsing on tour, and then went to Rio. And a month later, 2 months later, I'm playing in soccer stadiums. I'm on tour with Alceu Valença.
Wow.
Yeah, but before that, I was playing a lot. Before that, I was playing.
Yeah. Right.
I played with Francis Himes, which is Francis Himes is Tom Jobim's partner. So that was that was like a very unusual situation. And then we toured. We went to Europe, United States, Carnegie Hall. That's how I visit Berklee.
So that was the audition for that was very it was the night that they called you.
There was no audition.
Yeah. But in a sense, it was a resume references, and I just want to come over and meet you and get it done.
Yeah. Now let's back off a little bit, because his guitar player is his music producer.
Yeah.
So I have been playing with the guitar player because he would visit Recife for vacation, and the bass player that I used to play a lot, who went to Berklee, his name was Thales Silveira. Thales, the bass player, was close friends with Alceu Valença, music producer. Is that confusing? So you have Alceu Valença is the big star.
Right. There was a connection.
His guitar player played with me all the time.
Right.
So, but I didn't know he was checking me out. But he played with me on jazz gigs.
Yeah. Okay.
But I never mentioned that I want to play on that band. We kind of ignored that. There was no agenda, because when I played with that guy, it was such a separate thing from trying to play with the band, because I was too young to think about that. I didn't even think about, okay, let's work on this guy. Maybe to this guy I can do that.
Yeah, the networking part of it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, my heart was not. I was not thinking like that. It was totally separate.
Yeah, you were just thinking about becoming a great drummer and
getting
your next gig.
Yeah, here's what my experience is.
Yeah.
When you have a school audition, an institution like a college audition or all state auditions, that's a lot different than what I'm talking about. Some artists, if you really, really big, like if you like really high level artist, there is so many people involved. Let's say you're like a mega artist and you involved on touring, and there is no way you could do everything by yourself, because now you're talking about 30 people. You have a light crew, a sound crew, you have a band with 5 people, you have traveling, hotel. So you hire a management company, right? You have a manager. So bigger the operation becomes, more detached from the details the artists are, right? So you delegate. So if you need to find a drummer to sub, the management might do an audition like that there is no recommendation, right? They do a cattle call and 20 guys show up there.
Okay. Yeah.
But if the artist is involved with his heart, some guys are big and they're still involved. So they might look at the drummer or the piano player and say, who you recommend? And now all the guys that are strangers, like from the street, they don't even have a chance, right? Because the guy really wants, the artist will trust the band more than the management underneath it. Does it make sense?
Yeah, wait, of course. Well, naturally, because they want to play with their friends or people.
But cattle call audition still exists,
Right.
Still
well,
exists.
even the lead singer of Journey was I think he's Filipino, and they
American Idol guy, right?
Was it? No, I think it was. Well, he won some competition in the Philippines, and they saw him on YouTube, and he sounded exactly like
that's right,
the original Journey singer. And you just never know what's going to happen. So you have this childhood experience playing drums, you go on tour, and then you ended up going to Berklee School of Music, right?
Yeah, so I really like jazz, and I really want to study the instrument. My dad was a chemical engineer, but he listens to a lot of jazz. So I really want to study jazz, and you can't do that in Brazil at the time. You had to come here. And I got a couple of friends who graduated from Berklee. There is nothing like Berklee. There is no contemporary music schools like that, that
not
they are
contemporary
teaching.
music. No, yeah.
At the time, yeah. One of our tours, we played Carnegie Hall and played different places, and I visited Berklee, and I freaked out. That was like the mid 80s, late 80s, and I said, I want to come here. So when we returned to Brazil, I quit our sales band, and for a year prepared to go to Berklee. So I went to Berklee after although I was very young, I was already a professional drummer, and I got a degree in jazz composition. And while I was at Berklee, I met amazing musicians. I had a chance to play with Phil Wilson, Wayne Oz, Greg Hopkins, Lynn Biviano. This is all Body Rich alumni,
Right.
And then Steve Hunt, Baron Brown. I played with a lot of people, jazz and jazz fusion, heavily jazz and jazz fusion, big band. Everybody was moving to New York. I didn't want to do that. So I went and got a master's degree in performance. And then I was trying to get a college gig, and was not happening. I joined the Air Force Academy. I joined the Air Force Band in Dayton, Ohio, spent a year there. Then I got the gig here in Colorado Springs for the Air Force Academy Band, which is an amazing job.
Yeah.
So with that band, I spent 13 years, and I played with them and tour all over the country and internationally. And I played big band, concert band, marching band, rock, everything.
Yeah.
And then I resigned from that gig in 2011 because there was an opening at Berklee.
Yeah.
So I got the gig, and I resigned from the Air Force Band in 2011.
Yeah.
And moved to Berklee and became a full professor there for many years. And then I resigned a couple of years ago, and now I have my own school here.
Let me get into your experience with auditions, and how do you train students, and then what's your personal experience with the auditions, and like how do you think that you've won so many auditions? What is it about your preparation or your mentality? Yeah.
I like to overly prepare.
Okay.
So, and then my tip, even for college students, it's really amazing to me after I audition thousands of people. The problem number one, if you want to do a better audition, is care. You have to care. What do you mean by that? I have people show up, hey, I have an audition for Berklee, or I'm auditioning for college, or I'm auditioning for whatever they audition for this band, and they don't have enough information. They
Okay.
didn't get all the information they should have.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Even if they send it. So here's what I think helped me. Let's say you have a band and I'm going to audition for your band. And I'm going to say, what is the music? I want audio. I want charts. If you don't have charts, I'm going to make the charts. I want to know about you. I want to know the history of the band. I'm going to go see you play live. I want to know as much as I can about this band and who is on the band. What do you guys like? I want to figure out what are you about, right?
Right.
Before it's not just about playing the tunes. I'm going to memorize it. I want to play your music. I'm not saying that I'm going to be able to do that, but I'm sharing how I'm thinking. I want to play your music in a way that's better than you be playing right now, and you wrote it. So, like, I give you an example. One of the gigs that I got, I really want this gig. Really want it. I got the set list, and I memorized like I was gonna do a show. The audition for me was a performance. I look like I'm an actor. You know,
your dress is.
I freak them out, right? I'm be on a movie like I'm playing a role here.
Right.
I took my best drums, my best cymbals, was all clean. Was like if you just look at the drums on this audition, you'd be like, wow, something's about to happen here. It was the most important performance of my life, right? I was there early. I'm set up. I had the music, and like it was a show. Nobody was there. It was just the band, right?
Right.
It was a big band, by the way. This gig was a big band.
Yeah.
The music director look at me. They are ready to do kind of a little rehearsal, something, I'm ready to play like a recording session. You know what I mean? So by telling that story, I'm sharing our way of thinking.
That mentality.
Yeah. My expectation is already higher than their expectation.
Right.
For them, it's just another day. They're not auditioning.
Right.
So I'm gonna push that band to play even better, because for me it's like one of the most important day of my life, right?
Right. And I think, like you said, you have to know what the audition requires. So you'll have students come in and they don't have enough information of what style of music, who's going to be judging this, or what might they be looking for, kind of thing.
Yeah, Berklee audition. If you audition for Berklee, we're gonna give you a little pamphlet that has 4 pages on it. There is some rudiments in there for drums. There is some orchestral snare, classical snare, and there is some chart reading there.
Right.
And I give you that before the audition, a couple of days before. You should like nail that stuff, right?
Right.
So some guys walk in there, they lost it, they didn't look at it.
Really? So you obviously auditioned a lot of students at Berklee for admittance, scholarships, different things. What are some of the top things that people failed at? Obviously lack of preparation, but what are the things that they could have, things that they just didn't do well at?
The number one thing is when you walk in there, if you audition for college, any college, make sure that as soon as you walk in, that you look people in the eye, shake their hands, introduce yourself, and don't disengage. Pay attention to what they're doing. Because a lot of kids, they walk in and, hi, my name is Henrique. Well, where's the drum? They're looking at the drums, or they brought a snare drum, or they brought a something, and they're not really engaged on what they want you to do.
Because they're worried, maybe they're nervous about the setup and everything, but they're not thinking about the people part of it, that they need to engage the people.
More they're like that, I know it's not going to go very well, And I try my best to have them to be really relaxed, because some guys are so nervous, In general, after that, the number one problem with students, bass, guitarists, pianists, drummers, is reading. They're not great sight readers. Problem number 2, statistically, is styles. I don't think you need to play every style. You play whatever you love to play, as long as you know that you want to work less. You will work less. I tell my students, you can do whatever you want as long as you know the consequences.
In the audition with Berklee, then how did that, like, you only have so much time.
Yeah.
What was the typical drum set audition? Like how long did it last, and how many things did you go through?
Basically, the first thing we do, they play whatever they want. They bring a prepared piece
Okay.
that's very important, because right there and then we can tell a lot about them. They play a prepared piece, and then right after that, I approach the music stand and I say, "How you doing today? You doing okay? Relax. Hey, we're going to read this for me. Read this for me." And I let them. I said, "Take a look for a second. I'm really nice. Some guys are like, read this, 1, 2. I go like, hey, take a look. It's in 4/4. Watch for the dynamics.
Yeah.
This is gonna be about 1, 2. I even sing the first bar.
Right.
Da, 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 da. You
So
good?
the very second thing they're doing is reading a chart. Yeah. Okay.
No, he's snare, reading rhythms.
Oh, the snare. Okay, snare. Okay.
And then I go, "You ready?" Yes. And I give them like 3 chances. I said, "Okay, 1, 2, 3," and then I can tell right away how that's gonna go. It's 8 bars, 16 bars. Thank you. And then there is somebody else. When we do audition at Berklee, 3 teachers. One guy is interact with them. The other guy is writing everything on the computer, what I ask. Because as soon as they walk in, I'm gonna say, "Hey, how long you been playing? And have you played bands? Did you play rock, funk?" There is a whole question there that somebody else is listening and writing it down. And then the other judge is double checking what I have. There is a copy of what I have. And as they're doing what's on that sheet, these other guys grading how that guy's doing, double check with me if they did mistakes. Does it make sense? So it's 3 teachers in each room.
Okay. Yeah.
So then after that, we're going to do some drum set chart reading, like interpreting rhythms on the drum set, right?
Right.
And then after that, I'm say, "Hey, the rudiments, can you play a paradiddle?" And then we say, "Do you improvise? And let's do some styles. Play a little jazz for me, bossa nova, mambo. Do you know any Latin?" If they say no, we just don't do it. Play funk, play rock, and that's it. It's 15 to 20 minutes, and we can tell a lot about the player.
Wow.
But they're gonna do audition on ear training, harmony. This is the drum set part, right?
Okay. So so Berklee's audition system is pretty refined down to. So they go to another station or whatever where they're.
Yeah. And also they already submit a bunch of stuff. But you ask what they can improve, right? Reading, styles.
Okay.
Reading and styles. And then the stuff that I told just pay attention. But it's just typical teenagers. I teach classes at my school, and you put 4 boys, 4 teenagers together, they're 16, 17.
Yeah.
You have to get, "Hey, stop."
Yeah. I'm sure it gets noisy
you
in your.
You have one. I have 2 of them.
I'm sure it gets noisy in your studio. So let me ask you too about your studio now. Is you started this in 2019. And you're doing more than just teaching lessons. You have a camp coming up. So tell me about your summer camps, and what do you do with that?
And then this year we're only doing 1 week, June 24 to 29. But this time we bring in David Garibaldi from Tower of Power, Bill Gibson from Who Lives in the News, and Mark Walker. So those guys, my connection with them is they take lessons with me. Bill Gibson, the drummer from Who Lives in the News. I mean, those guys, sold more than 40 million records, right?
Right.
And he's my student now for about 4 years.
Yeah.
And he always want to come to camp. David Garibaldi is a legend, and once in a while we do consultation, for specific things. He has questions about little things that he wants to improve. And I said to them, "If you guys are coming to my camp, can you help me out and teach? Because, I know you take lessons with me, but you guys are legends."
Yeah.
So they said, "I'm in." So they coming, Mark and Bill are coming to study with me and teach camp. And then David is coming to teach and hang with those other guys, right? That's going to be incredible. But it's sold out. Sorry about that. Nobody can get in anymore. We closed registration.
Yeah.
But one thing that's still open is that Thursday, which is gonna be June 27, Bill Gibson has a clinic at 7 p.m. And then June 29, the Truce Project Band has a show there, and Mark and Bill are gonna play with the band. So
okay. So people can go to your website. What's the website?
thedrumsetcoach.com.
So thedrumsetcoach.com. And if you're listening to this before end of June, you can take advantage of those opportunities.
And all the information is on the drumsetcoach.com. The drumsetcoach.com is an online school. We have students from Russia, Romania, Panama, Switzerland, Germany, Brazil, international, online. And you can also buy our products there, our books, and you can take courses online. So we have the Drum Set Coach is our online school, and the Drum Set Coach Academy is the facility where we can bring people together. And I also do shows there and stuff. So that's what